Now I'm going to reassemble the bolt carrier group. To do this, first thing you want to do, on the bolt there is 3 what look like disc washers, and they have a little hole cut out on each one. You just want to make sure before you put this back together, right here, you want to make sure that those holes are not lined up. You want to unline any 2 or 3 of them. Just get them as far apart away from each other as possible. The gun won't function if those line up. It won't get the right kind of gassing. Alright, so that being said, first thing you do, slide the bolt back in. Okay. Reverse order of how we took it down. Firing pin. No. The whatever this is called, I forget what this is called, link pin or something. That goes in next. Flat side against the carrier key. Or not the carrier key, the gas key. Give it a 90-degree turn. That'll line up the holes. From the back, drop the firing pin in and pull it forward and back. Yeah, everything seems good. The little hairpin goes back in the hole from this. There's a side that's hollowed out and a side that's just a regular hole, but this side that has the opening is where the direction you want to go in from, and that is what holds the firing pin in from falling out the back. Okay, now it's going to need some oil. It's important on ARs to get them well lubricated. I'll show you where you lubricate the bolt here. A drop by the ejector and the extractor. There's 2 holes, 1, 2, right on this scalloping side underneath the gas key. Put a little bit in each one. And work it back and forth. That'll get around there. It'll flow. Okay. 1 drop, just a drop, into the gas key. I like to work it while I'm doing this. And I put 1 on the back of the firing pin down low. Okay. And after I work it a couple times, I go back and put another one in each one of these holes. I guess this would be the, as if you were holding the gun, this would be the right side of the carrier. And that's pretty well lubed then. Pull the bolt out forward because that's how it's going to have to be oriented when you reassemble. And that is done. We'll set that aside. To clean the lower, take a clean cloth, wipe down the buffer, all surfaces, the spring, okay, the tube, as much as you can get. Just get all this shit out of there. Get most of it off the sides. If you want to wrap it around a brush for an extension to get all the way down there, you can. Just don't want to lose that. You just don't want to lose that rag in there. Okay. Flip it over into the lock work. Wipe down the hammer. You can let down the hammer by pushing back on it very slightly and easing it forward when you pull the trigger. You don't want to let the hammer slam right now. It's not good for the receiver. It could break the receiver. And get in there. Wipe out whatever you can by hand. Get your Q-tip out. Q-tips are key. I like to have Q-tips in my cleaning kit because you can get down there and get whatever's chilling out in the lower parts of the lower. All right. Go ahead and cock it back. Magazine well. Give it a wipe. Get all the excess oil from last time off the outside surfaces. We'll reapply some. Okay. Drop of oil on this, just a drop on the springs for the hammer. Let the hammer go again. The disconnector and this selector. And one on the detent for the buffer. And you can work it in there by pushing down on it. Okay, pretty easy. Then I take a little bit of CLP on the cloth and put it in the mag well. So I like my magazines to drop pretty easy. And it helps if this is nice and clean. Okay. Now, the bolt catch. Get one down in there, a couple drops. Work it a couple times, make sure the oil diffuses down in there. And a couple on either side, top, bottom, and right, left of the buffer tube. And you're ready to go ahead and put the spring back in then. Buffer. And there's 3 flat sides. I put 1 drop on either of the flat sides. Rotate the flat sides of the buffer so that one of them is not on the detent. Okay. Okay, everything's clean now. It's time to reassemble. We're going to start with the upper bolt. Charging handle goes in first. Drops into place. Put it in a little ways. Doesn't have to be halfway or anything, but just a little ways. The bolt goes right on top of that. Push it in so it clicks. The bolt will not go in if the carrier group will not go in if this bolt is back. It has to be in the forward position. Keep it in the forward position. Carrier key goes right into the hollow part of the charging handle, all the way forward. Click. The lower I grab it with my left hand and pinch it together. Get one of the pins in this case the takedown pin, and I put a drop on the pivot pin from the hole side and push that in. Then I repop that one, pull it out, and on all of these pins there is a groove that takes a drop of oil. Oil that, stick it back in. Okay. Bolt a couple times. It sounds good and feels good. Let me go around and wipe down any excess that's left anywhere on the outside of the carbine. One last drop. I forgot this. One last drop right here. If it has a hole there on your receiver, some of them do, some of them don't. It's the spring for the detent for the pivot pin. And on the opposite side of the mag release button, put a drop there to get into the mag release. And that is a clean carbine.